Hey guys, welcome back. I am Chris.
And I'm Randy.
And you guys are watching Marksman TV. Welcome back to another unboxing video. In these videos, we take all the firearms that you guys have sold us through our website and go through them. So if that sounds interesting to you, stick around. It's coming up now.
First up is one from a customer in Washington. Let's see what's in here, Chris.
Nice little hole for Randy.
Oops.
Whoops.
No safety knives here.
What do we got?
It yet remains a mystery. I know what this is. This is a Ruger SP-101 357 Magnum, 5-shot stainless steel revolver. Very well made, very heavy duty. Have one of these myself.
Yeah, so great thing about these old, I shouldn't say old, they made them for quite some time, but these Ruger revolvers, as you often hear, they're built like tanks. Very large, durable frame. They have a nice amount of heft to them, so especially being something in a smaller frame, with that added weight is going to help you in something like a 357 or even a 38 plus P. But like all 357 Magnum revolvers, you can load your 38 Special in it and it'll fire just fine for practice, or if you do want a lighter load for defensive purposes like a jack and a hollow point or something like that. Anyway, what do you think about it? I mean, you have one. What do you think about it? Do you like it?
Oh, I like it very well. I did replace these grips with the Hogue grips. Gives you a little bit more. I have large hands. Someone with a normal sized hand, the grips are probably perfect for. But this is actually one of my favorite small revolvers, and the fact that I can load 357 in it is a game changer when you come to self-defense.
Yep, man, what do you think about the condition?
It's got a few handling marks. I would say probably the high end of very good to the low end of excellent.
Customer said very good, so we're right in line. So that is our first one. Thank you so much. We'll move on to the next one. All right, up next we have another one from the same seller in Washington. So let's dig in here and see what we got. All right, appears to be an AR-15 upper receiver. Probably a lower receiver in here as well. And there it is. Oh, KE arms. These are actually really cool, these KE arms lowers. Pop that out. Whoop. So,
Video edit.
Normally on the AR-15 lower, you have a detent spring and pin that actually keeps your rear takedown pin captive. You also have the same thing on the front. This is actually like the old 601 method that Colt used, where you actually have a detent ball and spring actually in the takedown pins themselves. So yes, while they are technically captive, you can pull them out completely, like I have just done there. And the reason for that is this is a completely polymer lower receiver. Let me get this thing assembled and we'll sort of talk about, you kind of actually have to pull it out almost entirely anyway. You got to at least get it past the detent ball and spring to get the thing assembled. See if we can get that in there. There it goes. All right. That's a little tight. So the KE arms lower, this is part of Ian McCollum from Forgotten Weapons had done work with KE arms on this as part of the What Would Stoner Do project. That is effectively, if Eugene Stoner were making the M16 or the AR-15 today with today's like modern material and machinery, how would he have done things differently? Ian had thought that Eugene Stoner would have gone with a complete polymer lower. Again, you only need that sort of extra reinforcement in the top half of the receiver, the upper receiver, to handle the pressure of the firearm. The lower receiver is really just acting as a housing to keep all of your fire control group and everything together. So with the polymer, you're getting a much lighter firearm. I've seen people do stuff with like carbon fiber barrels and stuff to get the weight of the AR-15 incredibly low. That's effectively what this concept is. Actually really cool. So I always like to see these sorts of things come in. What do you think about that?
I would have to say excellent, Chris.
Yeah, and it is a 5.56. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. Yeah, 1 in 7 twist. I would agree, and that's what the customer said, so we are good on that. But yeah, really cool firearm. We used to sell these receivers by themselves. They're not super expensive either. So anyway, cool firearm. We will move on to the next one.
All right, up next is one more from that same customer in Washington. Let's see what we got in here. It appears it is a kit. Once again.
Okay, this is also a KE Arms, but this is a metal lower receiver, same company. This is a 9mm, the KE9, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, KE9, and this is actually a side charge as well. And it uses Glock magazines. Being a 9mm, it's a straight blowback. The inside of the receiver is a little bit different because you have to have that block in there to feed your magazines, as well as the ejector is in there as well. So you can't just use a basic generic AR-15 lower without that sort of modified block pinned in there. But anyway, pretty cool. Looks like the charging handle got a little bit marred up in shipping. It kind of goes through the box here. That's okay, it happens, not a big deal. Oh, honeycomb pattern on the front of the glass there. But what do you think about that?
Honestly, Chris, other than the charging handle that, like I said, most likely have it in shipping, I'd say excellent condition.
And it's just kind of got a little nicked, as you can see it poke through the box, but we'll put some perma black on that and it will look just fine. It didn't really hurt the metal, just kind of rubbed off the finish a little bit right on the end. Yeah, other than that, which clearly happened in shipping, I would definitely say excellent condition. So that is what the customer said. We're good with it, and we will move on to the next one. All right, guys, next up we have one from a customer in Idaho. Let's see what we got. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Kind of.
2 hours later.
We need a brief intermission. All right. What do we have there, Randy?
We have a Marlin Model 30 AS microgroove barrel. It is JM stamped in 3030.
30 AS, I'm not too familiar with it. It looks like it's probably off of the 336 pattern, would be my assumption.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a pre-336. I don't know. This is what I'm going to have to do a little bit of research on because I'm not too sure where the 30 AS lines up with the rest of Marlin's firearms. It is a 30-30. It is clearly a lever action. And it's got a cross-bolt safety, so maybe not that. Maybe that's what makes it. AS.
A safety.
A safety.
A safety.
All right. What do you think about the condition on it?
It's pretty chewed up on the fore end. I don't see any cracks, which really they're important things that you want to look for, or any cracks in these things when you're looking, especially at the older ones. But I don't see any of that, so I would actually...
A little bit of finish wear down here. You can tell that this was hunted with, and typically on lever guns you get a lot of finish wear on the bottom because they're carried just like this when out in the field. And over time, of course, you get sweat and oil from your hand and just general carrying it there constantly. You wear down the finish, and that's exactly what's happened here. So on a lot of old lever guns, including Winchester 94s, that's very, very typical. But beyond that, what do you think?
It's what you call patina, Chris.
So what you call a classic American patina.
Americana right here. I would say I would rate it in good condition.
And that's what the customer said, and I agree with that. A little bit of chewing up here on the handguard. Someone's dog got a hold of that.
Dog got a hold of it.
So,
that's definitely K9 right there.
Yeah, that's some K9 Excisor B12.
Yes.
And the dog may have even carried it.
Possibly carried it around a little bit.
This gun clearly belonged to a dog.
But it is JM stamped, which is very desirable, and the Marlins to have the older one that was still JM stamped, which would have been pre-Remington.
Yeah, so a lot of Marlin collectors like the JM stamp stuff. So really cool. I'll figure out more about the 30 AS. I'm sure there's a lot of Marlin guys watching that can fill us in. But anyway, good condition. Thank you so much for selling this one to us. We'll move on to the next one.
All right, next up is one from Columbia, South Carolina, Chris. I got it now. Thank you to our local customer who brought me in this assault hammer to open the box with.
All right. First up, it looks like we have a Shadow Systems there it is. MR920. This is the combat. Basically, the Shadow Systems pistols are very heavily influenced off of the Glock design. In fact, they are basically, that is what they are. They are enhanced Glocks. Guys at Shadow Systems would probably be upset at me for saying that, but effectively that's what it is. So the 920, this is really in line with the Glock 19 size. They have two basic configurations, the Combat and the Elite. The Elite is going to have, the quickest way you can tell it's the Elite is going to have the lightning cuts in the front of the slide. They make also different configurations with optics plate cutouts. You can get them with the threaded barrel. They even have even more upgraded versions like the, what is it, the Warrior Poet? I think they call it War Poet. War Poet. Yeah, we just had one of those. And seeing a ton of these things show up on the market, they're doing really well. I mean, they are sort of the modern era Glock pistol, really revisioned, modernized, lots of nice slide serrations, stylizing, and of course all the different upgrades you can get. This one has night sights on it, flared magwell down here at the bottom. So really for the money, they are really cool handguns. Triggers are of course an improvement over the typical Glock trigger. They're not, you know, a huge difference, but they are definitely an improvement. But I do like the Glock triggers. A lot of you guys know who watch the channel. This one, 2 magazines. This one with an extended floor plate, which looks 3D printed. Yeah, cool. So anyway, very cool. What do you think about the condition of that one?
I really don't see even any handling marks on it, Chris. I would say excellent.
Yeah, that's what the customer said, so I agree with that. So let's look at what else was in here. Zastava arms. Looks like a 5.56.
Clear?
Zastava arms. This is specifically, is this an M885 maybe? ZPAP 85, 5.6, 5.56. I'm beginning to think that this was not designed for this gun, but maybe it was. I don't know, I don't think so. How would it be?
Yeah, how's that going there?
We're being tricked.
We've been tricked. It's the only one sitting there.
No, see, I feel like that's not the right mag. No, it says ZPAP. Well, see, this was originally a polymer. We've been tricked, Randy.
What?
We've been tricked. That is an AR.
No, that's
No.
7.6239.
Yeah, no, this is a 5.56 gun, but it's got a proprietary magazine. It would have to. There's no lip on the front and there's no lip on the back for it to lock in. That is not...
30-round polymer.
Yeah, so that was the bag for the original mag, which clearly this got...
Clearly, this has been rebuilt.
This is not the original magazine. Interesting. Okay, so without a magazine, we will press on.
Single shot.
This is a single shot, bolt action AK pistol. California. That's a rule salad.
California compliant.
It's California compliant.
1 round.
Okay, So the Zastava firearms are Serbian, Yugoslavia, Serbian-made AK pistol. These would come in, actually the Zastava firearms were coming in for a very long time. Century Arms was primarily the one bringing them in. But just a few years ago, Zastava opened up their own United States-based importer, if you will, and that was Zastava USA. So they're still made in Serbia, brought in through Zastava USA. They make them in the rifle configurations and of course the pistol configurations like this. If you get a brace, or if you SBR it, it's kind of like a little crank-off configuration. So the quickest way you can tell you're looking at a Yugoslavian or a Serbian AK is a 3 ventilated handguard right up here at the front. But this one is in 5.56. They make them in 7.62 by 39. Of course, we just do not have the original magazine. What do you think about the condition of that one?
I see no marks on it, Chris. I would say excellent condition.
Yeah, I totally agree, and we're good with that. So let's move on to the next one. All right, next up we have one from a customer in Las Vegas, Nevada.
City that never sleeps, Chris.
I slept a lot when I was there. All right. That's a nifty little bag for this. What we have here is a Kel-Tec Sub 2000. These are interesting little firearms. The Sub 2000s have been out for a long time. They make them for different magazine configurations depending on what handgun that you have that you might want to pair with it. They make them for M&P magazines, Beretta 92 magazines. They make them for Glock magazines. And Ruger magazines, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I think they do. So, cool little survivalist type firearm. When it comes to these sort of backpacker carbines, the Sub 2000 is personally one of my favorites. Very, very lightweight. Very reliable little guns. There's really nothing wrong with them. Charging handle is back here. You can change the length of pull by driving out the rear pin that holds on the end cap, and you have 3 different positions. Crossbar safety. Magazine release is not ambidextrous, but no, it's not. This one is for Glock 17 magazines. So anyway, very cool. Not much else really to say about it. What do you think about the condition of that one?
Again, Chris, I would have to say excellent condition.
Totally agree, and that's what the customer said, so we're good with it. Let's move on to, I think, the last one.
Yes.
All right, and last up we have one from the same customer in Nevada, so thank you. Get it with me. I remember this. What we have here is 2 Rugers and a display case. It just keeps getting better. And a lock that I almost dropped onto the glass. And a Ruger
Shipping jacket.
shipping jacket. I feel like I'm ready to party, man. All right. What we have here is a commemorative. I think this is the 50-year commemorative set for Ruger Blackhawk, which, see, they came out in 55, so what's the math on that, 2005? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. All right. We're getting somewhere. Ruger Blackhawks. This, I believe, one is 44 Magnum, which would be this one. 1958. 1958 to 2008. That was close. 50-year 44 Magnum, in beautiful condition.
7 years of college down the drain.
This one is the 357. 1955 to 2005. So I guess it came out in 357 in 1955, 44 Magnum in 2008, or 1958.
Yep. That's what he said.
And those fit in there. And then there are the nice collector red boxes and the collector's jacket.
I don't think the camera's giving this shot.
Probably not, but we'll get the slow pan for you guys. That's a really cool one to end out on. Not much else to say about it. In the 1950s, you have the Colt Single Action Army that was manufactured from 1873 up until 1941, the beginning of World War II from Colt. They switched over to military production, so they ceased production on that. Now, after World War II would end, through the late 1940s and the early 1950s, you have a lot of new interest in sort of the Western style of firearms. All the media, the movies, the magazines, and comic books and stories are coming out. So there's a lot of interest in the U.S. consumer market in firearms for single action armies. Now, a lot of people were taking the old Gen 1s, retrofitting them with target sights and things like that. So Ruger had the idea of coming out with a single action army that was modernized with nicer sights on it, with a flat top frame, and nicer grips, again, rear target sight, safety features on it as well. I don't know if the early ones had the hammer mounted firing pin. I'll look into that, but they had done really well, and they actually came out with this the same year that Colt would reintroduce a single action army known as the second generation. So, but Colt did not have the enhanced target sights and things like that that would come later with the Frontier model. So anyway, really, really cool. Cool to commemorate 50 years from back in the early 2000s. So happy to get that set in. Big thank you to our customer over in Las Vegas, and we will end it up with that. All right, well, that is all we have for you today on this video. Thanks for stopping by and checking this video out. If you enjoyed, please let us know by hitting that like button. Please also consider subscribing to our channel and hit that bell notification button so you are aware when we are posting new content. We're going to leave you guys off with that. I am Chris.
I am Randy.
And we will see you guys next time. You know the only thing missing there, Randy? You weren't in your underwear. He's smarter than the gun. Smarter than the gun.
AK.
No, this AK.
AK. Las Vegas, Nevada, man. Viva Las Vegas.
This one was. It's like cigarettes and regret.
What could possibly go wrong?
You're gonna drop that right through the cage.
I'm not gonna drop it.
On this video, thank you so much for stopping by and checking this out. If you enjoyed, please let us know by hitting the... You looked at me and then the hammer started raising. I'm now all of a sudden concerned.